You recorded on the Preachers record, is that correct?
I came back off tour with Charlie.
Right.
I had hurt my back, and they had to put me on a plane and send me back. And the next day I went to a doctor, and the next day I was playing with the Preachers.
Right.
Their drummer, I don't know what happened to him. He dropped out.
Right.
We practiced a couple of times. We played the Tree House.
Right.
And they ended up carrying me on their backs on the shoulders up in the air out of the club because I didn't make any mistakes that night. Richard Shelter just hoisted me and everybody carried me on my back out, after it was really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I miss Richard.
Yeah. Richard actually, when my band threw me out, Richard auditioned for my song. But they eventually I came back into the band. Tell me about Larry Joe Miller.
Larry Joe Miller and I met about a year after I moved down for like the umpteenth time. I was a snowbird for a long time, so when I finally settled here in '82,
Right.
I don't recall how we hooked up, but I ended up playing with him for about 3-4 years.
Right.
We did a lot of gigs. We played this place called Checkers in Miami Gardens.
Okay.
It was a $3 million comp thing the guy turned into.
Was that like a
beautiful park.
50s type of play?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we did the commercial, we did the soundtrack, and then we got a six-month contract.
Yeah.
We played Wednesday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
We played Churchill's. We played Flynn's a lot, New Year's
Right.
Eve. I do have a VH tape of one of Larry Joe's gigs in Flynn's. I have it stashed away. I've got to change it, put it on CD.
Right.
We did rodeos.
Rodeos?
Yeah, that was great. We had Mad Dog Smith. His name was Lawrence Smith. Played stand-up bass.
Okay.
He was in the band from the get-go. I took over when I believe Bobby Tack bowed out.
Okay. Bobby Tack also played with Larry
Bobby
Joe?
Tack at first played and did this thing called Rubber Bucket. They did a cassette that Joe Harris produced.
Okay.
On Jeter Boy.
Jeter Boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't know what happened, but I was asked to join, and we practiced, and we were doing straight rockabilly. I mean, it was so finely detailed. It was
Right.
down to the minute. People said we were better than the Stray Cats. We were more refined than the Stray Cats.
I think
they were a little
doing
looser.
it. He was doing it a lot long before the Stray Cats.
Yeah, Larry Joe started in Texas when he was a kid. He started on bass, then went back to guitar. Now he's
Right.
playing bass again with
Right.
Spencer. Yeah, Larry and I are still friends to this day. I call him up.
Yeah, I want to interview him. He's going to sit down with me. I've never
guy.
met
A
him,
fantastic artist.
and I never met you. It's like funny how, there's a lot of musicians back then, and it's like
a lot of guys have stopped playing. They had to go to work. They had families to grow up.
Right.
They just lost interest. The music business can suck the heart out of anybody.
Yeah.
A lot of guys moved away. Some of them passed away. Some of them split. Just went to L.A. or Atlanta. They just, So as we're getting older, most of us guys are in our mid-50s. They don't want to come out at night. Their wives don't want them hanging in bars. They lost the muse. They have no interest in. And this is a big thing. They don't have to prove themselves anymore.
Right.
When we came here, we all came here in our 20s, and we had a lot to prove.
Right.
And now that we're in our 50s and we've been in so many bands, most of the people who have sort of dropped by the wayside,
Right.
they just got tired of no clubs, not getting paid.
Yeah. Well, it's
you
rough.
can't do it for money down here.
Yeah. If you're gonna be like
If
a
you're gonna be in a
musician,
band, you're gonna have to do it for the fun, like when you were 15.
right?
You have to have a day job or some income. You cannot rely on making a living through music down here in South Florida, especially now.
Especially if you're doing your own stuff too.
If you're an original band, it's very difficult. The bars are empty, money is tight,
Yeah.
and it's just right now it's a bad time. But there's a lot of young bands. There's hundreds of bands down here.
So you came down here in '82.
Came down here in '82, moved down here for good in '82.
You're from New York, right?
Yes, I'm originally born and bred in Brooklyn.
Okay. Cool.
Me and my buddy Marky Ramone used to hang out in Brooklyn. Erasmus, he was my mentor.
Cool.
He brought me along. Every band he left, I joined. I was like 2 bands away from the Ramones. I was next in line. He was leaving Richard Hell. I was going to join Richard Hell. Instead,
Yeah.
I moved to South Florida.
Right. So you came down here in '82.
82.
And you
played
played
with
with
Larry
Larry.
Joe for about 3 years.
Yeah.
We played the Highlight. We opened for the Clash
Okay.
in maybe 84. 84. It was the second Clash.
Right.
They were playing, and out of nowhere, they wanted a local band to open them up. Joe Harris was managing us at the time,
Right.
and took care of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And some of us drove, some of us flew up. We opened for the Clash. About 3 or 4 songs into our set, people were throwing cans of beer and money at us, and Larry Joe almost got clocked in the head by a can of beer.
Yeah.
So he cut it right then and there
Yeah.
and made us split.
Okay. Cool.
Guys, do me a favor, make sure your chair's back. in the-
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll do it. Okay. The Roosters. Tell me about the
The
Roosters.
Roosters was Slip Mahoney and
Okay.
Mutt Murphy.
Okay.
Great bass player.
Right.
Played no more than 2-3 notes, but could hang on a note for 5 minutes while we went and lit a cigarette.
Right.
Kept playing and would continue. Would hang on that root bass note. Nice, deep tone. He was a fantastic bass player.
Right.
Big, stocky guy.
Yeah.
Hence the name Mutt.
Yeah.
And he moved to Boston and never came back.
Okay, a couple of bands like
He
Rob.
just split. Mahoney, he's in Slip and the Spinouts. He's the leader. He's been playing for 10, 20 years. He doesn't stop.
Slip in the Spin Out. Now there was a band down here back then called the Spinouts. Is that the same
I
band?
don't know. He goes by Slip and the Spinouts.
Okay. All right.
We were called the Roosters, and I can't remember. Mutt left, and then we.
When was that? What time around?
85.
Okay, so I'm covering basically covering from band 79 to 85. But we can go
If
on.
you really want to go back farther,
Yeah.
when I moved down here in '73, my dad bought a hotel in South Beach,
Right. What hotel did he buy?
the Arlington Hotel,
Okay.
on 5th and Ocean Drive, on the
Okay.
beach side next to the condo.
Okay. I used to live in the Miami Beach Hotel on 5th Street. They've since torn down.
Oh yeah, we used to go over there. My friend had a room above a bagel shop. We used to practice above the bagel factory,
Right.
right on Euclid and 5th.
Okay.
I came down in '73, and basically I met Johnny Salton. He lived a block away.
Yeah.
And I heard some music coming out of this little bungalow, a strip of 8 apartments.
Right.
Well, Johnny and I made friends. That must have been like '76, because I had brought down the first Elvis Costello, the first Sex Pistols, and I might have been the first Ramones album. And we became friends immediately, and we started jamming in his friend's apartment. I was playing in the kitchen, he was playing in the living room.
Right.
I still have a cassette of it.
Yeah, Johnny's a good guitar player.
Spoke to him the other day. He's doing all
Yeah,
right.
I'm gonna sit down and talk to him.
He looks great now.
He's hard to nail him down, Okay. Tell me a little bit about Charlie.
Charlie and I met through all the guys in the Eggs. I was best buddies with David Froschneider
I used to play.
and Billy Weasel. They lived a block away from me on Arthur Godfrey Road, and 45th. That's 45th Street, or right west of Collins on the other side of the canal.
Right.
If you come out of my father's house, you turn left, and there's the Fountain Blue. So Frosch lived a block away.
Yeah.
Weasel lived a block south of me.
I used to
And we
play in a
started
band with
hanging
David
out.
Frosch. Yeah.
And of course, Johnny Sticks.
Yes, John Galway.
John and I hung out every day for 5 years. We worked together. I got him a job.
Right.
He was the only drummer around. and
It's a
we just
$2,000 tax to open after
became
midnight.
great friends because so it's friends to have a friend with a drummer
Yeah.
talk drums. And we hung out for 5 years. I mean, we were best friends. And then he left for New York.